Alright, I think maybe it's time for everybody to finally know what's happened throughout my life in the 2010s decade. Today, I bring to you the story of my life. The story of me from the 2010 decades. My name is Jonah Nicholas Muirhead. I'm 17 years old, currently still in Red Oak High School. I can also go by my YouTube channel name, Joe Flash 6.7. I've been living here in Red Oak, Texas for many years since the day I was born. And the 2010s decade certainly was incredible. So it's time for me to tell you all my stories of what's happened throughout the 2010s decade, from 2010 to 2019. This is the story of Joe Flash in the 2010s decade. So, in 2010, I was still in elementary school. I don't remember how old I was, but I still was. I was just your normal, before I became a YouTuber around that time, I was just your normal average young man just trying to learn things at school and all that kind of stuff. I was currently in the 2nd grade when that happened. But then, after summer came, I was then on my way to 3rd grade. And it had a couple of issues, but it still went well. I was in 3rd grade from 2010 to 2011. Once the summer came back, I was on my way to 4th grade, but a thing would change. My mom, well, actually, we're not there yet. We're actually not even there yet. What am I talking about? So I was in 2nd grade, as I said. I started out in 2010, lasted the 3rd grade from 2011 to 2012. In the middle of 2012, I was then brought to, well, let's put it this way. Well, let's just say that after I came from 2nd grade in 2010, in the middle of 2011 was my year in 11th. Well, 3rd grade. Excuse me, I'm just so used to being where I'm at right now, I just don't know what I'm saying. So in 2010, once again, I was in 2nd grade. I had old pictures of me getting awards and stuff, and my teacher, Miss Osborne. Then, once the summer hit, I eventually then went to 3rd grade on the same year, 2010 to 2011. Once it was over the summer in 2011, when I was on my way to 4th grade, my mom found me a school in Waxahachie called Advantage Academy. She suggested for me to go there to find out what it was like. So I decided to do it. I wasn't really sure how it was going to be at first because it was my first time going to a school at a totally different district. A totally different place far from Red Oak. First day I stepped foot there, I just didn't know what to expect. But I turned out to like it. So I spent the next few years being in Waxahachie. Well, I've always lived in Red Oak, but I started going to school in Waxahachie, as I said, Advantage Academy. I started out in the 4th grade, 2011, 2012, 5th grade, 2012 and 2013, and well, actually, I think I actually messed up, to be honest. Well, let's say it started in 2000. Well, let's see. It started in 2011 when it happened. It was in the middle of 2011 where I was in 4th grade at Advantage Academy. So it was 2011, 2012 for 4th grade, 2012, 2013 for 5th grade, and 2013 for 2000. You know what? I'm actually messing up. Okay, I can remember now. Apparently, I was having a hard time I messed up. So, I lasted in 4th grade of Advantage Academy Waxahachie from 2011 to 2012, 5th grade 2012, 2013, and 6th grade from 2000... Sorry, hold on, one more time. 4th grade 2011, 2012, 5th grade 2012, 2013, 6th grade 2013, 2014. Well, I was about to last in 2015 as well, but unfortunately, during 6th grade in 2015, that would be the last road I have at Advantage Academy in Waxahachie. You see, a couple things got mishappen. I had a couple more problems and all that kind of stuff. You could basically say a situation happened, but it's very personal, so unfortunately I cannot tell you exactly what happened. But I moved on from it now, so don't worry, I'm better than how I was. But basically that situation, let's just put it this way, it got me suspended. So I was suspended. For only a month. I spent numbers of weeks at home just doing work that I got all the way from my school in Waxahachie. I only had a few more days left till I was about to return to school, but unfortunately my mom could not handle having to stay at home, missing so many days of work just to watch me at home. So, she was so worried that she was going to lose her job and she was going to get fired. So, I had no choice but to listen to my mom and be forced to do what she wanted me to do, and that was move back to a school in Red Oak. So, it was my final road in Waxahachie School. I stepped foot into the office for the last time in Waxahachie Advantage Academy, and I was about to be on my way to returning to a school in Red Oak. But in order for me to guarantee to return to a school in Red Oak, I needed to find one that had my grade, which back then it was currently 6th grade. And apparently there was one, and it was called Red Oak Intermediate School. It was actually its last stand that year as well, because Red Oak Intermediate School was actually about to be closed and basically was about to be turned into a totally different school where it's no longer going to be a Red Oak school forever in that year. Because basically what happened was, so many students are now starting to attend the Red Oak school, they couldn't fill in enough space for all the students to be able to be in that school. So they had to find a bigger school to be able to fill some more spaces up. But I got lucky to be there for its last stand, because when the first time I got to look around the place, on my first day, I was just in the office, and I was welcomed back to a Red Oak school by my very best friend from elementary school, Ryan Daniels. I was so surprised I got to see him again. He showed me all the classrooms, showed me the cafeteria, the stage, the backyard area, the PE. Everything was actually pretty cool about that school, even the little fish tank in the front office, and even the library. There's no doubt about it that everything about that school was just awesome. But that's not quite the end of my story. So in 2015, I was welcomed back to Red Oak School by my very best friend Ryan Daniels. I got to step foot into my first period class, and my second period class was the TLC class, and I was really welcomed back by a lot of my elementary school friends, like my other best friend from elementary school, Connor Glass, Brenna, and even a very good teacher of mine who happened to be a teacher in elementary school at that time, Miss Lamar. Unfortunately, my other two teachers in TLC and elementary school, Miss Caraway and Miss Osborne, were retired, so therefore it was kind of a shame I didn't get to see them again. But I'm sure Miss Lamar would have probably maybe have told them that I returned because, you know, they were the teachers I grew up with. It was great to see them again. I got to spend a couple more days around the school. Unfortunately, at that time, I had anger issues, so therefore I had to stay in the TLC class for the rest of the year. I mean, if I calmed down enough, I would have been able to make it back, but I didn't. I didn't have anger management, but I did have to keep myself under control, and eventually I did. But it was still nice that I got to be at the Red Oak Intermediate School's last stand before it was officially going to be retired and turned into a completely different school forever. That was literally the coolest school I've ever seen, not even going to lie, I shared a bit of good memories there while it did last. So, moving on to summer. In the middle of summer, I officially did become a WWE fan, and sometime around that year, that's when this YouTube channel began. It debuted in 2015, but didn't start making videos until 2 years later, which I'll get to that in a little bit. So in 2015, I was on my way to Red Oak Middle School. Basically, the school it was originally called was Red Oak Junior High, which is the school that we were all going to be going to be able to fill some more rooms up for students. We had to, because otherwise we would have never have any more spaces to be able to fill in the students. So, I started becoming a WWE fan. I stepped foot into Red Oak Middle School for the very first time. I thought it was cool, and quite a few interesting things, like I actually spent my first year, only year there in choir. Then, unfortunately, I left the next year, fortunately, but it was good running while it did. Other stuff happened. Then it lasted to 2016. In the middle of summer, I just did my usual thing, and then, well, in 2015, I forgot to mention, I also got a Wii U for Christmas, and I got my first WWE figures of Daniel Bryan, John Cena, and Kane. 2016, then I had summer back, and, well, they would go my next year there. So basically in 2015, when I went to middle school, it was me in 7th grade. Then when it was about to begin the next year, it was me being in 8th grade. So it lasted from 2016 to the beginning of 2017. It was a good year while it lasted, and that was my final year being at the Red Oak Middle School. Before then, After it was over, I would turn my focus to what the school I'm currently in right now, and that is Red Oak High School. Red Oak High School. First time I stepped foot into the school for the very first day, I didn't really know what to expect, but I thought it was cool. On the first week, I actually had soccer class, but unfortunately I had to get out of it immediately the next week because I wasn't supposed to be in sports. Unfortunately, sports is not really my thing, so I had to get out of it. But nonetheless, it was a good running while it did last. And I did want to admit real quick, in 2016, in 2016, I did want to stay in choir. Well, at first I didn't want to, but then I decided about it and thought I wanted to stay, but it was too late because I gave the final answer to the adults I didn't want to. But then I rethought about it again, so for the next few years while I was currently in other classes and high school stuff, I rethought about it and thought twice about if I should go back to choir or not. But focusing on the classes in high school, it was pretty awesome while it did for the first year. It was quite good. Then it happened, and it would go on from 2017 to 2018 while I was a freshman that year, or 9th grader. Once the summer came back, well, I got to do lots of amazing things, actually. I actually got to go, over the summer, I got to actually celebrate my birthday early at the Arlington Mall and Chuck E. Cheese. It was great, and then on the very first day of school in 2018 as a sophomore, a 10th grader, it was pretty cool that my birthday was on that day. Not much happened, but I did have plenty of people wish me happy birthday that day. And I got to see my new classes around that time. It was pretty cool. All that, just the same old usual. Lasted from 2018 to 2019. Then once the summer hit back again, well, unfortunately, let's just say 2019. That was the last year of the 2010s decade. Well, unfortunately, it didn't really go too well for me and my parents. Summer really did not go too well. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't get to do a lot of things. So summer was not the best this year, last year in 2019. But we did get to do a couple things where we did go to the Showbiz and Waxahachie a few times, got to see Avengers Endgame, got to see Spider-Man Far From Home, did a couple of other things, blah blah blah. There's that. Well, when my birthday hit, as I turned 17 years old, then it would actually happen on the second day of school instead of the first, but it was still great. I got to see all my classes for the first time, I got to see all my friends again, all that stuff. Got to become a major fan of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when it came out earlier, a little bit closer in 2018. It's now my new number one favorite game and all that stuff. Lots of good memories did happen at the school last year in 2019. So much good memories. I'm still being pretty famous and all that stuff. And even I got to even do a special thing where I sang in the pep rally again. I did it in 2018. I sang Justin Bieber Baby, but unfortunately not everybody heard my vocals, so that didn't go well. But last year when I sang One Direction, What Makes You Beautiful, that went even better. And people really sure did seem to like it that day, and I really was glad I got to sing in front of people like my dream, like I wanted to become a music artist and stuff. In 2019, it was quite a comeback year, because, you know, when the Avenue Church of Waxahachie in December would be where they would have announced a thing called Retreat, which would take place at Sky Ranch, a fun event that would spend like a weekend there. I almost didn't get to go, but thanks to the church, I was able to, and I got to in the last month of 2019 in the decade with something really, really fun to do. And something memorable, especially even Christmas when I got the Nintendo Switch with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a WWE fan now. I have two favorite singers, Justin Bieber and Penelope Robin. And my two favorite bands first one will now be my new number one favorite band, and it is none other than Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson, and Liam Payne, aka One Direction, which I still hope the rumors are true about their reunions sometime later this year in 2020. And then my second favorite is a children's favorite band, which I pretty much have grown up with these guys since I was born in 2002, and they are none other than the Wiggles. Well, except the current member of the Wiggles we got today are Anthony, Emma, Lockie, and Simon. But they're good, but basically I grew up more with the original Wiggles, which were none other than Anthony, Greg, Jeff, and Murray. Those were the Wiggles I grew up with. And I usually like to listen to more of their songs than I do with the new Wiggles. A lot of people do, but you know what? The newer Wiggles we got today are still alright. And look at me, sitting right here, beginning a new decade of 2020, sitting right here making a YouTube video, just told you about the story of my life in the 2010s decade. And not only that, my YouTube channel began in 2015, didn't make videos immediately later until 2017, and look at where I'm at, still making videos, not as much, but still cool. And I got social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, and I'm glad that I get to really have such amazing friends and fans like you guys. And the bottom of my heart, I thank you for everything. So there you have it, folks, the story of Joe Flash in the 2010 decades. It wasn't really a lot, but you know what? It was worth it. So now, the big question that comes to my mind is, what's at stake for Joe Flash in 2020? As we start a brand new decade of the 2020s decade. Well, I hope that something good will happen, because you know what? I can feel it in the future and see the future that it will be just as good. With the help of my friends and my fans, it helps keep my spirit alive, and I thank you all so much for that, because I really would have no idea where I'd be if it wasn't for you guys. I may not have a lot of subscribers, but that's alright, because I still enjoy doing what I do on YouTube no matter how many subscribers I got. And I still hope that one day my dream will come true, that I want to become a music artist or a singer. I really would love to do that. And that dream will kind of come true, because next week, when second semester starts at my high school, I will return to choir. I dropped out of piano class in the first semester, so I can return to choir for second semester. I did had 100 in piano class, but instruments were not really much my thing, so I just thought I'd go back to doing what I do best, and that is singing, and be back in my appropriate class, which had singing available, which was choir. I was only in there for 1 year, from 2015 to 2016 as a 7th grader, and now 3 years later, I returned to that class. Some old friends from middle school choir, some new friends, it won't matter, because I will just enjoy getting up on stage singing again. Unfortunately, though, I have to attend concerts in order to get a grades, but that's worth it, because you know what? I enjoy singing in front of crowds now. And I really will look forward to doing it again. A lot of my friends are probably really looking forward to me getting back up on stage, being a part of the men's choir again. If it wasn't for the fans and friends that suggested me to, and if it wasn't for a very certain friend of mine named Emma Cultural, who's a redhead girl in high school who really thinks that choirs could use a good singer like me, if it wasn't for her suggestion that inspired me, I wouldn't even know where I'd be, or I would have never have thought to go back to choir anytime sooner. So I thank you all for that. And if Emma Cultural was watching this, thank you once again for your inspiration of words, because it really helped me to make my final decision to go back to choir. I'm pretty sure maybe Emma's got to be seeing this, and maybe some of my other friends are as well, since I'm going to be sending this video to them on Snapchat and Instagram. So if they're watching this right now, hi! Well, that'll be it for today, you guys. You got what you wanted, even though I'm not sure if everybody wanted to know it, but you know what? It was great that I got to finally share my whole 2010 decade story to y'all. That'll be it for today, guys. If you disliked this video, give it a thumbs down. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Sooner or later, I will make more videos very soon, so don't you worry. Until then, this is Joe Flash, signing off, and have a good day, or in this case, a good night.